Hey cruiser, welcome to Cruising Chris Craft. I'm Josh Wells, and today I want to tell you a little story about the American dream and my boat, good old Stargazer. The origins of Stargazer trace back further than you might imagine. The boat you see today is actually a part of a larger story, the story of Chris Craft. The name Chris Craft might sound familiar to you. It's a name steeped in legacy of boating and American history. The journey of Chris Craft began long before the grand, lavish style of boats you see today. It began before the sleek models, the celebrity attention, and the societal love of sailing. It begins in the late 19th century with a young working-class boy, Christopher Columbus Smith, trying to achieve the American dream. In a time before a market existed for recreational boating, Smith knew he was working from the ground up. Practicality was incredibly important in his initial creations. Smith knew people were wary about open water. This meant if he wanted to create his own boats, they would have to be durable and give Americans the security to venture into the unknown. In 1874, Smith gathered the best parts he could afford at the time, and at age 13, he built his first boat in Algonac, Michigan. Eventually, some friends asked him to build a boat for them, and Smith discovered that his skills were in high demand. He began building boats full-time with his brother Hank several years later. In 1910, the Smith-Ryan Boat Company was established, where the brothers continued building boats for Americans. They hired a team of skilled workers, so they were able to push production of boats out quickly. Initially only a family business, Smith's company had become the world's largest builder of mahogany powerboats. By this time, their boats went at an unheard of rate of 7 miles an hour. That is truly a feat of boating technology. These impressive advancements expanded the image of Chris Craft from a reliable and trustworthy company to a steadfast and daring one. The company aimed to make new and innovative designs to break speed records. This shift, as well as the expansion into Chris Smith & Sons Boat Company, made Smith realize his boats could be many things at once. They could be secure vessels to keep Americans safe, while also inciting confidence to explore new waters. With these accomplishments, it is no surprise that Chris Smith & Sons Boat Company became the first to standardize its design. As Smith's company spread across the nation, its name reached prominent figures in the entertainment industry. In 1928, movie star Helen Morgan bought a Chris Craft, cementing the company's products as luxury boats. The once practical product Smith built from the dirt was now also considered a must-have by the highest regarded figures in society. In 1939, Smith's vessels would take on another meaning to Americans in the form of patriotism. At the turn of World War II, Chris Smith passed away, but his company continued to manufacture the finest boats. As the war progressed, Smith's company turned its attention to producing patrol boats, utility launches, and rescue vehicles for the war effort. While Smith's boats were never intended for war, producing them for this purpose was a matter of duty on the behalf of the United States. By the mid-40s, 10,000 military vessels had been built by the company. About a decade after the war, the company manufactured its first fiberglass boat. Throughout the 60s, the mahogany boats were replaced by ones made of fiberglass. In 1962, National Automotive Fibers purchased the company and officially changed the name to Chris Craft Industries. Both of these transitions were pivotal in the development of the Chris Craft we know today. No longer was Chris Craft merely a company created by a young blue-collar boy. It had morphed into something profound and grandiose, yet its roots were still recognizable, especially among avid boaters. It was around this time that Elvis, the king of rock and roll, also bought a Chris Craft, proving that the brand could continue to hold the status of the luxury item it gained in the 20s, while still keeping true to its self-starter origins. Then in the 70s, the tide shifted for Chris Craft as they ran into trouble during the energy and oil crisis. In 1975, the company reported losses of over $5 million. To make matters worse for the company, they released the Chris Craft 30 Tournament Fisherman a year later, a lawsuit which would be known as Birchman versus Chris Craft, followed from the accusation that the designer Ray Hunt copied the hull of a Bertram Yachts model. As the lawsuit pended, production came to a screeching halt. While the production wouldn't fully ramp back up again until the 80s, this is actually where our boat comes into play. In 1979, a new line of Chris Crafts were produced, known as 330 Catalina Sedans, including our very own Stargazer. Just imagine, years ago, she and other Chris Crafts dominating the water both here and abroad. Today, she is one of only dozens of her kind still in existence. I'm Josh Wells. Once you have everything you've ever wanted, then what do? Well, for me, it was Stargazer. While I've just started do-it-yourself boat repairs, I won't be doing it alone. Along the way, I'm going to be working with my family. My love, Nikki, my son, Sam. The story of Chris Craft isn't just a story about a boat or a company. It's a story about American history, about a blue-collar boy with the American dream in his back pocket. Chris Craft was born from nothing and became something greater than anyone could have imagined. They gave Americans a reason to explore new waters and the tools they needed to make it possible. They inspired generations to strive for more. Chris Craft aren't only responsible for changing an industry, they're responsible for the cultural phenomena we call boating in modern life today. I'm proud to own a Chris Craft, and I'm proud to call myself part of the Chris Craft family. Thanks for joining us today, Cruiser. We love you. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. I'm honored to be cruising with you. Until next time, I'm Josh Wells, and remember, as Lao Tzu once said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one ship, or something like that. See you soon, Cruiser.